Hello, this is Malorian, and this is going to be 2,000 points of my Lizardmen up against some Orcs, and it's actually kind of a Canada versus England game. Alright, so what's going on with this game is that James from Tale 4 Geeks, we had been in some contact because he wanted some help with some of his lists for a tournament, and then after thought, why don't we just have a game? And the interesting thing here is that just at the time where he was wanting to talk to me and get information on his list, I was actually just starting to listen to their podcast. There's a few podcasts that I listen for different systems, and one of the ones that I listen for fantasy stuff it used to be Black Sun. I listened to Jaded Gamercast, and then Heelanhammer. Well, Heelanhammer stopped doing their recordings, so I had to find another one. And basically, as soon as they stopped, this Tale 4 Geeks started. So I checked them out. They're kind of like the Black Sun in that it's kind of a English tavern type of setting where it's just guys sitting around talking and having fun. One of the nice things is that, if you don't like the swearing, they have very little there. And otherwise, another thing I really like about their podcast is they talk a lot about painting and stuff like that, where a lot of the other casts don't talk about that stuff at all. They also have on their website a whole bunch of tutorials and videos on it. So a really neat one to listen to. And so another thing with this, it's Canada, that's where I live, versus England, so I'm pretty sure this is going to be the longest Skype game ever done. So I thought I'd shoot this up there. Whenever I'm doing the Skype games, what I do is I set up so that my laptop is way high up on a bookshelf and looking down, and so this is what my opponent James is going to see. And it's actually kind of difficult when we're talking back and forth because the screen is flipped. So when he talks about that one tower on the right, it's actually on the left side of the board, but we figured it out pretty easily, and I'll go over the terrain and stuff right away here. Alright, so the game that we got here was Watchtower, and I rolled up a bunch of terrain, and what I did to make it fair is because I set up the terrain and my army before he did, is I just rolled for quadrants, right? Broke into 6 different quadrants, and I only allowed 1 double. And so really what that meant is that on the bottom right, we have one of those swamps where if you fail it for a monster you just die. Then I have a mysterious woods. It turns out to be a venomous thicket. Then there's a raging torrent, and behind is a hill that won't matter, but it's an Anvil of Vol. We got a regular building on the top left, the watchtower in the center. Then I rolled up 2 of these evil settlements, each of them having 3 buildings. The one in the middle has the pit, which gives you -1 leadership, so I made sure to put the very back so it wouldn't really screw them over. And then the other one, that big, huge, tall tower with the dice on top, is a Tower of Blood. So that's definitely going to have an effect in this game. The list that I'm running from left to right is 18 Spearosaurus with banner. Then I have 10 Skirmishing Skinks. I have a Salamander. My big horde of 40 Saurus with a banner. A Stegodon. Then I have 8 of the Saurus Cav, and in there is my Old Blood, who has light armor, great weapon, and also the Wizarding Hat. I ended up with Lord Death, and I have Spirit Leech and the Caress. Then I have 4 Kroxigor and 10 more Skinks, and then 6 Chameleons will be on there later. For his side, he has a Chariot, he has a Chukka, behind that he has a Doom Diver, another Chariot. In that first building, he has 50 Night Goblins with banner and musician. Then he has 39 Biggins, which are regular orcs with 2 hand weapons, musician, and banner. He has his war boss in there that has the sword that gives him +1 to hit. He has the heavy armor, magic armor that gives him a 4+ ward. And then behind, where is it? On the building next to that, he has his 20 archers, 23, sorry, and in there he has his BSB, which has the charm shield. And then he also has a level 4 Goblin Shaman that has a 4+ ward and a scroll. He has a Rock Lava back there, and then he also has these 24 Black Orcs with banner and musician. So really when I looked at this game, he had control, nothing could go into it. So the way that I thought this playing out was that I'd be able to move up, get into it first, and then after that, it's really going to be very even. His Biggins with his war boss will be killing me faster than I'll be killing him. He'll really grind me down. And then he has the tools to really kill the rest of my stuff. His Black Orcs are very dangerous to any of my other blocks. Of course, his War Machines, very dangerous to my Stegodon and my Cav. So we're going to have to see how this goes. It's going to be a pretty close game, I think. And here's a kind of a back shot of his army just to kind of help show where everything is. And when we designed these lists, we made them to be not super tough. They're designed to be more fun. So they're not so fun to the point they're taking silly things like my savages with spears, but you're not taking all the really hardest choices like a horde of black orcs or something like that. And here's just kind of like the center of mine, and same thing with my general. I mean, having a wizard hat is kind of a silly thing to do, but really it's not that bad. My character is stupid anyway, and it's the cheapest way for me to get a useful lore in there. And so this is where I'm going to be scouting my chameleons. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I don't know if he would do this, but it's possible that he could do the Watchtower Blitz. Where you swift reform your big block and then just walk right into the tower first turn. So even though my chameleons would love to go after the war machines, I just can't take the chance that a battle report that should be a very great one to watch is going to be kind of thrown off by this trick. So first turn, all I can do is really block them to make sure that doesn't happen. Alright, so this is my first turn, and really what just happened here is marching up with most stuff, other stuff just kind of walking up. That Venomous Thicket kicked my butt, killed 5 of my own guys. Magic Phase, I tried blasting his mage, but he used his scroll, so that's it for that. And then in shooting, really all that happened is that I got lucky, rolled a 6 for my bolt thrower, and I think I killed 3 black orcs. His turn now, and he failed his only animosity of the game, and that's with the Biggins, which had to charge the chameleons, but really he was going to do that anyway. And he also sent his chariot into my Saurus, just in hopes that maybe with the combat res, with the impact hits, he could just hold me up. Alright, so end of his turn it looks like this. In general, other stuff was just moving up. The biggest thing that really hurt me in the Magic Phase is that he got off the Itchy Nuisance onto my Saurus. And that brought me down to movement 1, which meant I would not be able to get into the tower. So that was pretty bad. However, as soon as the chariot came in, it rolled horrible for impact hits. I killed it outright. Combat reformed, and now I'm an inch away, so I could walk in anyway. So really lucky the way that turned out. Something that was bad is I had a rock land on the Stegodon, take off 5 wounds, and also a Doom Diver land on my Cav and killed 2 of them. Alright, so my turn 2, and the only charge I had was my Spear Saurus that were going to go into his Night Goblins just to keep them in place. I failed the charge though, so now I'm showing my flank to a giant. Otherwise, my Saurus go inside the Watchtower. And I have to be very careful with these Black Orcs. Remember, where they are with that tower, they have Hatred and Frenzy. So I really have to bring them down a little bit. So I had the Stegodon shoot them, rolled a 6 again, but only killed 1. The Skinks shot them up, killed a few more. And then otherwise, between the Salamander and the other Skinks, killed some more of the Biggins. His turn now, and what's going to be going on is he had his Biggins going into the Watchtower. He had the Chariot go after the Salamander, and I fled and just barely got away. And then he also had the Giant and the Spearman go into my Spearman, and I thought about fleeing, but the way that the angles worked, it just, I had a really good chance of being caught, so I just held, and maybe I can kill enough Night Goblins to hold, we'll see. Alright, otherwise, at the end, it looks like this. So, the Black Orcs, they don't really do anything. I mean, he likes the fact if he's keeping my 2 units out of the game, he's happy to stand there. Otherwise, man, the combat in the tower was pretty stupid. He has his War Boss that's hitting on a 2+, wounding on a 2+, and, then his Biggins are 3+, 3+, I'm needing 4+, 4+, but I won combat. So, that's fairly lucky for me. Man, my Spearosaurus, though, got crushed. That giant just did so many wounds and then ran it down. All I did was 1 wound to it back. And then otherwise, I forgot to say, but in the last Magic Phase with my Death Magic, I took 2 wounds off of his Shaman. So he has to be a little bit careful now. But his Magic Phase this turn didn't really do anything. I can't remember what he was trying to cast. Oh yeah, my Kroxigor -1 movement, but that doesn't really affect too much. My turn 3 then, my Stegodon had been killed by the Rock Lubba, but I'm still not ready to try and do anything to these Black Orcs. So I have the Kroxigor shift over, so they'll be in the flank. I move over with the Skinks, keep on shoot them up. My Salamander rallies, I shoot more into the Biggins there, and with my magic, I'm able to kill his level 4. So that's great. No more magic for him. My left flank is completely crumbled, but at least I don't need to worry about that magic anymore. His turn 3, his Black Orcs failed their Frenzy test, so they had to try and charge. He rolled just 3 though, so he just went up a little tiny bit there. Otherwise, you can see his archers shot into my 1 skinks, killed a good number of them. I was pretty surprised. He charged into the building. Again, I beat him. This is pretty ridiculous that I'm beating him in the tower there. Otherwise, he has his giant moving over to the threat to my flank, and his night goblins that had charged my other skinks, but I just fled over the unit and the building. 1 died from dangerous terrain, and then they failed the charge. And his hope there too was that the chariot maybe could get to the salamander, but of course then you could see the night goblins are blocking them, so that charge was blocked. My turn 4, I decide this is the turn that I might as well go for it, so the rest of my cav and my lord and the Kroxigor are going after the Black Orcs, but, you know, I'm going to take a beating from this, because like I said, hatred and frenzy on Black Orcs is not a good thing for me. And end of my turn 4 looks like this, so you can see the Black Orcs all dead, but yeah, he killed half my Kroxigor, all but 1 of the cav there, so I mean, the good news is I eliminated them as a threat, so now I have the right flank. With the magic phase, I was able to kill off his BSB, so that's fantastic now. He's just down to his lord for characters. Otherwise, my salamander goes to shoot across his biggins. I actually go really far and kill 2 of my own skinks, but hey, whatever. And just at this point now, I'm just hoping that I can survive through, because my source, even though I'm winning combat, they're starting to get fairly reduced. His turn 4, he has the Doom Diver go on to my general's unit, kills the other cav, brings my general down to 2 wounds, then he throws a rock on its head, and it scatters off. So that was pretty lucky for me. Otherwise, he charges into the building. He's finally now winning combat, so the way it's supposed to be, but I held. His Night Goblins reformed to get out of the way so he could try shooting a chuck at me. I think by this point he's already had 2 misfires though, and other than that, the game keeps going. We didn't roll a 6. My turn 5, I had the skinks come down, shoot up the giant. He's down to 2 wounds. Kroxigor turned to look at him. I had the general swoop around so that he can cast magic at his general, taking 1 wound off. And then he'll be there for a rear charge or something later. And then the salamander knows he's going to die, but just trying to go for 1 more shot. Kills a good number of night goblins and a few more of the biggins. His turn 5, his giant goes into the skinks. I do 1 more wound to him, but he kills all my skinks and doesn't quite overrun to my Kroxigor. His war machines trying to kill off my general kept on scattering off. It was actually his archers inside the building that take a wound off him, so that was kind of funny. He charges into the building, wins combat again. I think it was down to 12 guys now, so it's really, I'm almost out of there. And then otherwise, he charges his chariot into my salamander and just crushes it. So the game keeps going. So on my turn 6, I have my lord going to the rear of his biggins and the Kroxigor into the flank. I might not win combat here, but if nothing else, I just want to hold this unit up. End of my turn 6 then. We have a challenge between my general and his general, and this was just ridiculous. He gets to strike first. He's hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s. He rolled 3 1s to wound, so he actually had nothing for me to even try and save. Me attacking back, he was able to 4+ ward it all away. Otherwise, man, his big guns they did 4 wounds to my Kroxigor. And in the end, I think I won by 1, but he held. And this is all I have right now. His turn 6, the giant comes into the Kroxigor, and the night goblins come into my flank. They won't be able to fight, but they'll be able to net and add all those ranks and a flank and all that stuff. And in the end, it looks like this. So he does net my general. His war boss up against my old blood doesn't do any damage to me. Then when it gets to the giant, he yells and balls, so they win by 2. The general holds, but the Kroxigor breaks and is ran down. And man, these war machines, they all just blasted the watchtower, and I'm just down to 6 Saurus in there. So yeah, if they get charged by anything now, they'd just be toast. But as luck would have it, we rolled a 4, and the game ended. So victory to the Orcs, and I think we both had a lot of fun to this game. I mean, being Watchtower, I know a lot of people don't like it, but I mean, here we both had nice and fun armies. I mean, they were serious enough to make a real good game out of it, but really anything could have happened. If he just would have had a little bit more luck with his war machines, my general could have been dead. All he really needed was one more turn and charge that tower, and he would have had it. So it just really came down right to the wire at the end here, and it was a good game. Some crazy stuff happening. I mean, just I love the fact that my wizard hat was able to kill off two characters. That was pretty cool. And then otherwise, I mean, I really think you guys should go and check out that podcast. So again, it's Tale of Four Geeks. They just started. I mean, you always want to get onto a podcast when it just starts, so that you don't have any inside jokes that you're missing on later episodes. But you know, if you want any tips on how to paint or anything like that, or just want to have something to listen to while you're doing your own painting, just check it out. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'm pretty sure this is the longest Skype game ever done. So until somebody in Australia wants to take me on, here we go. So thanks for watching. Bye.